think about the experiment of fluid properties. Let me explain first the introduction of this experiment. This experiment refers to the characteristic of fluid in any condition that we can know the properties by measuring of viscosity, which we want to determine the resistance of flow, the density, which we want to know the capacity of the mass and volume, and lastly is the specific volume, which we want to occupy the volume from the mass of the substance. And then we can know and understand how this fluid works in response to the hydraulic system, which we want to know the suitable of the fluid properties. The objective of this experiment is we want to find by measuring and understanding of the characteristic in any condition, and we want to determine the effects of performance in the characteristic that will be measured in 3 types of the measurement. So for the learning outcome, we want to know how the process of this experiment to get the differences of the fluid characteristic by using the 3 types of fluid in this experiment, and we want to understand by measuring of their viscosity, density, and the specific volume to know the differences of their behavior, which is suitable for the hydraulic system.
Okay, today I'm excited to talk about the density. Later, I will show the video of the apparatus and procedure of experiment that I do. A fundamental property that explain why some object float, why some material feel heavier than other, and much more. So, what is density? Density is measure of how much mass is packed into a given volume. The formula to calculate it is density equal to mass over volume. This means if 2 objects have the same size but different mass, the denser object will weigh more. We measure density in units like kilogram per meter cube and gram per centimeter cube.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Takif bin Muhammad Haris. Today, I will be presenting about fascinating experiment about density. The apparatus that we need in this experiment is beaker and weighing scale. The fluid that I use to do this lab is, first we have water, second we have an oil, and then third is dishwashing liquid. First, I will use water to find the density. So, I measure the empty beaker and get 9.7 gram. After that, I put 15 millimeter water into the beaker and measure it at weighing scale and get 61 gram. Second, I want to find density for oil. Repeat the same step at find density of water with change the liquid to oil. I get 9.8 gram for empty beaker and 55.1 gram for the mass of beaker with liquid. Third, repeat the same step but change the liquid to dishwashing liquid. I get 9.9 gram for empty beaker and 62.1 gram for the mass of beaker with liquid. Hey, hi, welcome back. So this is the result. This image demonstrates the density different in fluid. The green and yellow layer represent 2 immiscible fluid of varying densities, with the denser fluid settling at the bottom. This setup can be used to measure and compare fluid
densities in a lab experiment. So, I will pass to the Muhammad Haziq.
My name is Muhammad Haziq. Today I will explain about my part in the lab to measure the viscosity in the liquid. So in short, viscosity is a key property that defines how fluids flow, making it essential for understanding and predicting fluid behavior in various applications. Several industries rely on viscosity testing for quality control, research and development and process optimization. So the first is I will explain about the apparatus we will using for the experiment. The first one is the marble. The second is the beaker that we use to contain the liquid. And the third is the ruler. The ruler is we use to determine the height of the marble that we will use to drop the marble into the liquid. Okay, this please drop. Okay, so before that, today there will be 3 types of fluid. The first one is water, second is oil, and the third is liquid. All of the 3 types of the liquid have the same temperature and the same volume. So the first procedure is that we will take this board, and the marble will fall into the liquid simultaneously. Okay, drop. Alright, so as we can see, for the marble reach the bottom is at the oil first, followed by the water, and then the liquid dishwasher. So the conclusion for this lab is the liquid dishwasher have the most viscosity, and at the second place is the water, and the liquid with the least viscosity is oil. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Ali Zafran bin Rusli. So here I will gonna do a specific volume test on the fluid properties. So what is a specific volume? So the specific volume definition describe a physical property that relate to the volume matter divided by the amount of matter. The specific volume is alternatively known as the reciprocal of density. So the figure shows the fundamental difference between the specific volume and the density. Okay, so firstly, to start the specific volume experiment, first we must ready the material and apparatus needed. So the fluid that we're going to test is first water, and then oil, and lastly is dishwash liquid. For the apparatus needed in this experiment, firstly is a beaker, and the other one is the weighing balance machine. So that's for the apparatus and materials. For the specific volume procedure, first I will weighing the mass of the beaker on the weighing balance. After that, I will pour the 3 types of fluid, which is water, dishwash liquid, and the oil into the beaker with 50 milliliter of volume. Next, I will weighing up the respective fluid on the weighing balance to get its mass. By then, I will get to calculate the specific volume by using the formula of volume over mass. So here the result is based on the calculation. Since specific volume is calculated using mass and volume, testing involves accurately measuring both. Firstly, indirect measurement using density. Calculate specific volume as the reciprocal of density using formula of 1 over density. Secondly, calculate using direct measure method where specific volume equal to volume over mass. After calculate, we got oil is the highest specific volume amongst the other. So I will pass to the next presenter, which is David. That's all from me. Thank you.
For density test, based on the result, dishwash liquid is the most dense between water and oil due to its composition. Dishwash liquid contains various compounds including detergent and surfactants that have higher molecular weight compared to water and oil. This increased molecular density results in the following layering effect when the three are combined, where oil is floats on top, water settles below it, and dishwash liquid sinks to the bottom. For viscosity, based on the result, dish soap has the highest viscosity compared to water and oil because of its molecular composition and structure. It contains surfactants and detergent, which are large, complex molecules. These molecules interact strongly with one another, creating resistance to flow and increasing viscosity. Meanwhile, for specific volume, oil has the highest specific volume compared to water and dishwashing liquid because it has the lowest density. Oil consists mostly of non-polar hydrocarbon molecules, which has less tightly packed molecular structure than water or dishwashing liquid, making it less dense. In conclusion, we have analyzed the properties of fluid, density, viscosity, and specific volume. Density determines how much mass is packed in a given volume. With water being denser than oil, viscosity measures a fluid's resistance to flow. Water flows easily, while oil and dishwashing liquid are more viscous. Specific volume, the inverse of density, is higher for less dense fluid like oil. These properties are significant in explaining how fluids behave and interact with one another, starting from engineering application down to everyday chores.